Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today's video I'll be doing a very dramatic eyeshadow look. So the first thing that I do, I love to prep my skin. I'm using NARS Skin Luminous Moisturizing Cream. It's really nice, it has a beautiful citrus smell. So I'm putting that all over my skin and my décolleté. That will be my moisturizer and primer for this video. Then I'm going to be using Too Faced Eyeshadow Insurance, putting that on my lid as my eyeshadow primer so that my eyeshadow pigment really does pick up and then my eyeshadows just blend a lot nicer. Then using my Anastasia Beverly Hills brow gel, the clear brow gel. I love this stuff. Next step, I'm going to go with my favorite foundation. This is the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation in the shade New Caledonia. I'm going to go in with a big buffer brush and I'm just going to pat that into my skin like a beauty blender and then go into circular motions really to buff it into the skin to have a very natural, radiant skin finish. Then we're gonna do concealer. This concealer is also from NARS. It's in the shade Chocolat, and I'm placing that underneath my eyes. As you guys can see, I'm gonna put it kind of like the triangle of light like I did in my last video, but then I'm gonna bring it up even higher to like the end of my eye. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I wanna have a very like sculpted, lifted eye effect that's really trendy right now. It also helps to sculpt your cheekbones and makes your cheekbones appear a lot higher as well. I'm placing that concealer also on my forehead, on the bridge of my nose, on my chin, and also on my Cupid's bow. Now this next product I haven't used in so long. This is KKW's highlighting stick in the shade Deep Dark Highlight. I'm using the darker one, the one that's meant for contouring. I'm putting it underneath my cheekbones, on the perimeter of my forehead, and also on my jawline. Then I'm going in with the same brush that I used for my foundation to blend that into my skin. I'm patting it into the skin like a beauty blender. Also, want to make sure you blend that jawline because we don't want any harsh lines anywhere. I have walked out the house with jawline marks from my contour that I forgot to clean up. Yeah, not cute. Then I'm gonna go in with a sponge. This is actually the Fenty Beauty sponge, and I'm gonna use that sponge to just buff in all of my concealer. Gently take my time, patting every little single crease. I don't want to see any creases, so I really do take my time when I blend my concealer underneath my eye. So I'm going to go in with the Fenty Beauty concealer in the shade 390. I'm using this concealer because it's slightly brighter than the concealer that I used before. It has a little bit of like a yellow or banana color, like undertone to it, and I use it to brighten this area a little bit more. This is just an elevated step that I like to use when I know that I'm going to do an eyeshadow look that might have dark colors. Brightening that under eye really does allow the dark colors to not make your under eye area look too dark, if that makes sense. This next step is very important. We're going to start setting that concealer because we do have 2 layers of concealer. We want to make sure that it's set properly. I'm going to go in with IMAN Cosmetics, her luxury press powder in the shade Clay Medium, and I'm using one of these big poofs to really press that product into my skin and set that concealer. I'm placing this everywhere that I put concealer. So on my forehead, on the bridge of my nose, and I'm using the same exact poof to use my loose powder to put right on top. The loose powder that I'm gonna be using is by SACHA Cosmetics. It is their buttercup powder. I love this. If you are a chocolate girl, this is a must-have for your makeup kit. It really helps to brighten the under eye area without having any flashback. What that means is if you take a flash photography, you don't have to worry about your under eye being too light, like literally white. And I'm gonna do the same thing, place it on my forehead, on the bridge of my nose, around my mouth area, and also on my chin. I then press in that loose powder into my forehead, and I also press in that powder onto my chin. Okay guys, it's eyeshadow time. I'm gonna be using DOMINIQUE Cosmetics Celestial Thunder palette. This one I got in my BOXY Charm subscription, so they don't sell this on the website like the smaller version of this, but they have a bigger version with more shades that you can get on her website. So I'm going to be using the 2 shades, Storm Dust and Lunar Eclipse. It's basically creating like an orange look into my crease area. Using a big fluffy brush, I'm patting it into my eye, and then I'm going to blend it in small circular motions back and forth in the outer corner of the crease and bringing it into the inner corner of the crease. And I'm just gonna continue with that same motion. I'm gonna add a little bit more just to add more color. So I go in, I pat it on first, and then I sweep it in small circular motions back and forth into my crease. I'm going to be basically creating a sunset effect between the darker colors and this color here. So the next shade that I'm gonna be using, this is from MAC Cosmetics, is one of their single shadows. It's the color In the Shadows, and it's a beautiful, beautiful blue. Oh my goodness, it's so gorgeous. It has little like accents of shimmer, but it's not too shimmery. I did go in with my Fix Plus and I sprayed my brush just to make sure that I didn't have a lot of fallout, and it did work. It also works to help intensify the color when you spray the brush with any kind of setting spray, but I particularly like using Fix Plus because it doesn't leave the brush looking and feeling too dry. It does add a bit of hydration to the brush. I went to switch the brush because I didn't like the first brush that I initially used, and the brush that I'm using now is like a flat brush to pack in that color. And then I'm gonna go back in with the same two colors that I used before, Storm Dust and Lunar Eclipse, just to blend in that blue with the orange color that was already on my crease. But I decided to use a smaller brush. I'm using like a tapered blending brush. Then I'm gonna go back in with the brush that I said I didn't like at first, but I'm using this to add more of that blue color in the shadow color from MAC. So just going back and forth just to blend in everything perfectly. I'm going back and forth with the same colors, the orange colors, and then with the blue colors. I really wanna focus in that crease area to make sure everything's blended, so I do take my time. And right now I'm adding in Black Matter into that outer corner. This is also from the NARS Cosmetics palette. It is a black color, but it also has shimmer in it. You can go in with a matte black if you don't want too much shimmer, but I wasn't afraid of shimmer because I knew I was gonna place shimmer back on top of the blue color, but that is the color that I use, just to add some definition in that outer corner. Now with my finger, I'm going to be adding another eyeshadow. This is also from MAC in the color Cosmic Clash. Is one of their spell binding shadows. It's like butter, it's so beautiful. It's in between like a teal, a blue, a green, but I love this color. I'm adding it right on top. Then I'm going to go back in with the big fluffy brush and blend out any harsh lines that I may have in my crease. I want all the colors to marry really well together, so make sure you blend, take your time with this step. Now we're gonna go to the bottom of the eye. I'm gonna go in with the black pencil. This is from SEPHORA Collection in black. And then I'm gonna go back in with the blue that I used before in the shadow from MAC, the single shade. And I'm gonna smudge that into that black liner. After that, I'm going to go back in with two colors that we use on the top. The two colors is the Storm Dust and Lunar Eclipse, and I'm going to be blending that as well into the blue and the black. You always want to marry some of the colors that you place on top to the bottom. You don't want to leave the bottom bland and boring after you did so much on top. So now I'm adding my brows, Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Witch in the shade Dark Brown. And now I'm going back in with the same pressed powder from IMAN Cosmetics that I used before. And I'm just going to help press in that loose powder. So I'm using this really light brush and puffing in all of that loose powder. I'm not gonna dust it away. I'm just gonna buff it into my skin using the pressed powder to help marry in the colors really nicely. We're gonna bronze my skin. I'm gonna go in with the bronzer from MARENA Beauty. I actually won one of their giveaways, Instagram giveaways. I'm very excited for the products to come in the mail. I cannot wait to do a video on it, but this is the bronzer in the shade Ebene. And I'm placing the bronzer everywhere that I contoured, around my cheekbones, my forehead, my jawline. The reason why I use a bronzer on top of my contour is to add a little bit more color onto my face, as well as sculpting my face. So I'm also gonna use this bronzer to contour my nose. Next, we're gonna pop some lashes on. These lashes are by LENA lashes. They go by the name Cassie. I do put mascara on the top of my lashes and the bottom of my lashes before I put on false lashes. I have very straight lashes, so I like to use a mascara to basically help curl my lash and keep them in place before I put on my lashes. I did my lip off camera, but I will link it down below. Now I'm putting on my highlighter. This is also from MAC Cosmetics in the color Oh Darling. Love this highlighter. I believe they still sell this, but this is like a cult favorite. If you do not have this and you're my complexion, lighter, even a little warmer, this is like one of my favorites. It's such a beautiful highlighter. And now I'm adding a little bit more bronzer because I just wanted to add a little bit more color, look a little bit more sculpted. But now I'm just patting it onto my face, so it just adds more color in that area. Whereas before I was blending it in circular motions, I wanted more color, so I packed it on by patting onto my face. Now this is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure that you comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye.